Hello everyone, I'm Xiaogan. Okay, in this chapter, we will mainly talk about HTTP streaming transfer. Actually, it's called HTTP streaming download. It's very troublesome, very troublesome, very troublesome. Okay, we've said it 3 times. So how do you do a normal download? Actually, for a normal download, you were given a URL. And then here, right here, don't we have an on response? Here, right here. Supposedly, when you give the content here, when the content is given here, we still can't click in, right? It can have this thing we can see. That is, you can directly make this thing into binary data and extract it. Let's see if we can click in. It should inherit the, yes, HT base. Let's look a bit deeper. Given to Tom. Given to content. Take a look. This interface. It can extract this payload. Then you directly take this binary data. Then to our this helper class, save it locally. You have downloaded it. As for the downloaded file name, it might be in the header. Follow some conventions. Or you don't need to worry about these. So normal downloading is very simple. Then, actually, there is also a concept here. Upload and download. This is relatively complex. Also, receive from bug. We generally don't make it this complex because usually there are professional engineers to provide the SDK. It is usually a C++ SDK. Then when you use it, you directly call the SDK's interface. Then you pass the custom data from memory to it. Then you set the output path. Then it will automatically chunk and automatically resume from break. So the most obvious example is Alibaba Cloud and OS's object storage. Then you can directly use its SDK. It has done it for us. You just call the interface statically. You don't need to do it yourself. You cannot use UE5's HTTP write streaming transmission and segmentation because doing it this way actually makes it more complicated. You are reinventing the wheel, and even if you make it, it's not easy to use. It's not very useful either, and there's no need for it. So for the schools, it goes from basics to advanced. There's no need for us to get into. Very low-level shard transmission, shard downloading, and things like resumable transfer. We will teach you about streaming transmission, streaming download, streaming transmission. This concept is actually quite complex already, and there are very few such interfaces available on the market. The main interface we found for you is Baidu's interface, the ERNIE bot interface. We'll use this interface. This interface is free. You just need to register on Baidu's official website. You can just search for this official website. It's this domain name. Clown's Baidu account. Then log in. Some of them are free. We'll just use the free one. Okay, most of its interfaces are the same. You just need to change the URL. Unlike Kufei, several of its interfaces are different. The interfaces for these large models are all the same. We'll use this tiding 8K. Okay, so let's first take a look at the running result. Then let's first take a look at our main acts. This UI is relatively simple. We just click a button. Don't worry about this name. We'll do it like this for each sentence. We don't need to make so many interfaces. We'll just make one. Let's call it Alan Tiding 8K. And here we pass in secret key and S key. Pay attention. It's not a P secret key. Yang is it a PP key. Why did I write this parameter like this? Because many people can't tell the difference. They say, why do you have key? Here again, there is also secret. That place also has key, also has secret. So what exactly are this key and secret? Well, it's very simple. This app key and app secret, they are at the app level. And this S key and secret key, they are actually security groups. They are at the account level. That is, you don't need to follow this app around, otherwise it would be very troublesome. Then, later, everyone please look for this SSK and secret in a Baidu console. Look for these 2 parameters, then it can be used, okay? Here, I will set this parameter. I randomly pick a blueprint class. Let me place it. This makes it easier for us to manage. And this is its URL. The more complicated part is that there is very early call because the large model has a front end and back end interaction. So how do we do it? This parameter is actually the parameter from the document. As the name suggests, this message, you can tell at a glance that this message is the question being asked. This context, you can take a few rounds to slow down. That is user. Then user AI says, we call it a contextual dialogue scenario. So in this place, it has a stream that is a setting. Obviously, this is a single turn dialogue, and this has produced one round of dialogue. Then this is clearly the second round of dialogue. So this is the first round of dialogue. Right. This is the second round of dialogue. So he has already answered. What is Beijing? Then you ask him next. What famous things are there in Beijing? So this is clearly a context, and this part is just a singleton conversation. And here, there is a background setting thing. You can name it as, you see it has a constraint. And here are some parameter variables. We'll ignore them. Then we focus on this streaming, because enabling streaming and not enabling streaming, here, it is different. Okay, so if you don't enable streaming, it will be very slow. So if your content is relatively long, you might have to wait 2 or 3 seconds before you get the answer. If you enable streaming, after 0.5 seconds, it will start sending you the content piece by piece. So this is very important. And here, we will directly update this of 3, because I don't think you would care much about what exactly this stuff is. This thing is from Baidu, and it rates a whole bunch of stuff for you. It's very uncomfortable to look at. I also think that if you want to use it, go study it again. Then this pair I am sealing. If you are not this kind of flating, then actually it only has one piece of information. Then we can directly take this information and just block it out. If it is fleeting, it has intermediate data and this, intermediate data and this. The final data, right? You can see this is its intermediate data. You can see it looks quite similar, right? No issues here. Rather, it is this final piece of data you can see. So this interface is very complex. And basically, our HTTP implementation to this extent is about you already, as we said. The saying is that truth turns into gold. That means you have almost finished learning. There isn't much. Not much more to it. Okay, so basically after reading it, we click on it. Let's click on this. You can see this place. It is flowing. It has 2 ends. And the first end is, I am Baidu. Then connected to the AI assistant of Unreal Engine. My task is to provide intelligent answers and information services. Then after this, it is a space. There is no problem here. Right. Here, it finally sends you the complete information. So this is the streaming one. You can see the data streamed in segments. This is the first segment of data. This is the second segment of data. Right. There shouldn't be any issues. The last one has no data. It just sends you some interaction token. If you are using streaming, it responds like this. If you are not using streaming, it's equivalent to sending it directly to you. Okay. So that concludes our demonstration here. Then in this chapter, we will guide you through completing this code. This plugtar is also available for purchase in the marketplace. If you need it, you can buy this plugin in the marketplace because that plugin is maintained long-term. The price is around 300 yuan. Yes, and this serves as a course study, teaching you how to integrate this flow transmission. Because I searched for this flow transmission for a long time. Actually, I find it quite difficult to write something like this. Mainly, I look for this kind of commercial, publicly available interface that you can use for free and that you can use very comfortably. Then, as a concluding chapter of our HTGP, it can elevate everyone to a certain, so we put it here after all. Okay, of course, we can use our small login server. We will also write a streaming one for everyone. That is also acceptable, but then you might feel that, isn't this thing just a demo you wrote yourself? It's so uncommercial. So we will use this commercial Baidu one to demonstrate. Okay, let me guide you through writing it again. Thank you, everyone.